Hello and welcome to Eat Your Greens. I'm John.
And I'm Christopher.
Yes.
Hey, John.
Yeah?
Do you eat your greens?
No, not really. Anyway, we're back for another VeggieTales review here. And this is my most anticipated episode to see.
Oh, it was.
Larry Boy.
And a bit from outer space.
Yeah.
An episode I honestly barely had recollection of.
I remember this episode a lot. Like, Larry Boy is like one of my favorite characters as a kid from the show. I had a t-shirt. I had a couple plushies. I would draw that character all the time.
Yeah.
I really liked Larry Boy. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a really long time since I'd seen Larry Boy. What I remember, there was just this and, of course, the weed. Later on, we get the apple. But this being the first episode, well, the second episode of Larry Boy, but the first Larry Boy focus episode, very exciting to see. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I remembered the base plot line, but I think it was a very good idea for VeggieTales to kind of hop on this superhero craze.
Yeah.
Because that is what a lot of kids enjoy watching, superheroes, and they've done a good job, bringing this character to life and enamoring kids with the concept.
This character is definitely inspired by the Batman character, to his vehicle, to his motif of the light, to an Alfred, to having a rich manner, to whatever he does. Which is fun. So we start at the beginning with the intro with Bob and Larry, and
oh yeah, they got a freaking email.
They got an email, and then there's this joke about being hip in the web and all that, which just made me think, wow, that was a very '90s thing to say, because like the internet was relatively new in the '90s.
You got a what? You know, Bob. Email. Aren't you wired? Online? Surfing the web? HTML, good buddy.
Oh, I got cable last month.
Now it's just life.
When was Google made? 98?
No, I thought that was into 2000.
I thought no.
Or was it late 90s?
It was late 90s that Google was made, I think.
You want to Google that?
No. But anyway, we were introduced with the topic of lying. Very early on, we know the theme of this episode. Lying. Not to tell a lie, but to tell the truth. And we are introduced to the story of Larry Boy, presented by Larry himself, which is fun. It starts out with alien conspiracies, which is...
Well, it was based from a movie.
But, we start with a movie, these two guys talking about a movie, and then we have a thing coming in on the radar, and two guys looking at that radar and just going, there's something on the radar. And that whole interaction just made me think remind me that there was this whole alien conspiracy craze back in the 90s and early 2000s where there would be a lot of representation of just people looking for signs of alien, and that's just what I got from here. Fun stuff. But we're introduced to Larry Boy, who's a superhero, and let's be honest, in this episode, doesn't do much as a hero.
Which, when I was thinking about the episode before we watched this, I'm like, he really doesn't do much. And watching this, and we're just like, he's literally just there.
He's the comic character.
Yeah, he's literally just a comic relief, which is so funny. It's so weird.
Yeah, an episode about this guy, and he doesn't really do anything to really help save the issue until the end. But anyway, we have the issue is that Junior breaks his dad's plate. That was a weird moment that the plate broke, that Junior just doesn't even try to catch the plate. He just, I don't know, that whole interaction was just weird. Just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, oops.
you could obviously tell something was going to happen to that plate from the beginning. It's like, it's either going to be broken or something's going to happen to it. So,
or aliens would switch its brains out with it.
Of course. But then the fib comes in and like tells the kid, it's like, oh, you should lie. And the junior just starts lying to just protect himself, which is, I think, without the fib, it just makes sense. Kids will probably naturally don't want to be held accountable for the blame.
But like what I kind of pointed out, because they wanted to make this a superhero adventure, they had to visualize a villain. Like, the Bible Man series.
Of course.
Every single rebellious virtue had to be visualized by a villain who had to spark that rebellion within the child.
And this villain we have for today was called the Fib, who started out as a little blue-purple ball,
pretty much
antenna guy, which I found just Junior's interaction about lying just very amusing afterwards. So anyway, Junior tells a lie to his father, and his father doesn't really question Junior to think he could lie, which
I guess
it makes sense in a way.
Junior's been trustworthy up to this point.
Which, that makes sense, but still, it's like there's gotta be like a small sense of doubt of.
I think it's very interesting seeing the amount of trust parents can have on children, but I do agree. What I like to just think, I just try to take everything with a grain of salt. I try not to completely believe everything 100%, and it's difficult. But I feel like it's dangerous to be too trusting sometimes.
Sure.
And that can be, to some degree, unhealthy, especially when it comes to family relations. But something like this could happen. So you have to be prepared that something like this could happen.
Right. Also, this episode, again, is not telling a story from the Bible, but its own.
No, it's not. Because I was thinking, was this their first non-Bible story? But
no,
they've done
their second episode. Their second episode was not a Bible story.
Second episode,
we had the Grapes of Wrath, and then the Gilligan's Island parody.
Oh, you're right.
And then we had the Toy That Saved Christmas.
Yeah.
And now here is the third episode.
Well, I mean, we've had also the God's Bigger Than the Boogeyman story.
Oh.
So we've had some things. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, is this our first full length besides the Toy That Saved Christmas?
It's the first full length episode that does not have two stories. It does not tell the story of the Bible.
Wait, no. We had Rack and Benny. That was a full story.
But that one was a story of the Bible.
Right.
This one isn't.
Right.
But anyway, Junior is confronted by another guy, and Junior changed his story. Which, we both thought, that's kind of stupid of that kid, just changing his story. But I thought, you know what? Junior now has been given this new sense of exhilaration from telling a lie. It's like, oh my gosh, this is exciting.
And plus there's an aspect where they have to kind of progress their plot. I still feel like it could have been done in a way where he blatantly insists on his story, that the fib still could have grown from that. But I feel like
he changes his stories from the girl doing it to the girl's brother doing it, which it was strange.
It is really strange.
But you know what? Junior is just having fun. And then, of course, the fib, after Junior told a lie, starts to grow. Which this reminded me of a Powerpuff Girls episode.
Okay.
Where pretty much the exact same thing happens.
Where there was a fib?
There was a fib who was this small white creature who was just around the Powerpuff Girls' house. And whenever they would tell a lie, that creature would grow. And the more they told lies, the creature would grow to exuberant amounts, and they had to defeat it by telling the truth, which is exactly what happens here.
What year was that episode?
So this VeggieTales episode came out
in 97, right?
Not 97. The Powerpuff Girls episodes. So Powerpuff Girls episode came out after this episode.
Or just even the Powerpuff Girls as a whole.
This series came out after this episode of VeggieTales, about a year later, in fact. So I wonder if there was any inspiration from this episode into that episode.
But we may never know.
We may never know. Does it really matter? No.
Nah.
But it's a connection. Pretty much this concept is an easy one to replicate.
True. That is true.
Like, if you're trying to tell a story about a character...
Especially when it comes to children's stories.
Yeah,
you can't really expect a lot of originality, period.
And you need a villain for lying. Lies become big issues.
And you had an interesting idea if this episode was written more or less for adults.
Did I say that?
Well, I added that context, but you had a connection. Politicians.
Oh, no, I was joking.
But it's funny.
I was joking, like if this was an episode written for adults, the fib would go to a politician. As a joke. Sorry, I don't believe all politicians are liars, but...
There's a few of them.
Here's a few. The fib would become ginormous, which actually happens in the Powerpuff Girls episode, which was really funny.
Did that fib take the girls hostage?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
We have to defeat the fib!
So, Junior is again affronted with the girl. What's her name again? Laura and little P. P? Whatever.
Harry or Percy?
You know, the little green guy.
Little green guy.
Again, and then of course...
Lenny.
No, not Lenny.
Lenny was there.
Lenny?
Yeah.
Oh, the little brother, yes. But then, of course, Junior changes his story again from Lenny to space alien cows. Now, this is where Junior got desperate. Makes sense. He's being cornered. His friend is not going to help him. But his friend grows...
The fib friend grows...
dramatically different and larger than before. Like, it escalated very quickly.
Like this whole episode.
This episode just escalated so quickly.
Like, I have to say, despite this episode being 30 minutes, it didn't feel that long. It's
technically like 27 plus...
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But, I mean, like, it feels so short in general.
Yeah. And then you have the just funny moment where Larry Boy's just playing what we assume is Candyland. I've never played the game.
I have a few times.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
But, you know, it's fun. Now he finally gets into actions, gets into his car, doesn't really do anything. He drives his car towards it, trying to activate the plane mode, and like this really great line, "I'm going to die."
I am going to die!
Stop yelling at me!
And like what's so funny is like that was all of a sudden Larry Boy is in this serious stake of his own making.
And Alfred's. That's the thing he yells. It's not the first thing you would expect in a VeggieTales.
But also, like,
so
wouldn't
funny.
Larry Boy just press the brakes? I'm going to die. Well, just press the brake.
Well, it's Larry. He's not that smart.
But yeah, like this whole thing, Larry Boy gets captured, and then of course they're trying to discover how do we defeat this fib. And it's around this point where it just really felt like they're just trying to drag the episode longer, because like they just kept pushing the gag of just Larry Boy being clumsy, and then Alfred like his calculations trying to decide who it is,
And he
it
unplugs his own
it
computer.
slowly is trying to reveal the answer, like too slowly. I've already figured out like the answer at this point, but it's like we're waiting to be told again. And of course, it's slowly trying to figure it out. Oh, guess what? The computer got unplugged. That's another 2 minutes wasted in time trying to get it solved. And it's finally revealed that Junior has to tell the truth. They drag a little bit, But you know what? Whatever. Junior has to tell the truth. He tells the truth, and the fib is destroyed.
Disappears.
He disappears. And, of course, the parents are like, we don't need to discipline you because
we were like,
you were disciplined enough. And I was like, well, no, oh, wait, yeah. I guess...
What child goes through such trauma like
what
that?
What child just is confronted by a large giant monster that wants to eat him?
So
yeah, I guess that's
was
punishment enough. Except for the damages caused by the monster, which have to be paid somehow.
I do really dislike it in children's videos when like there's like some foolishness that goes on and the parents like, oh, we're not gonna punish you.
Like,
but this kind of makes sense.
Like this one makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, other one, just like at least ground him
for
a week.
Like maybe Junior. Well, here's the thing. In the end, he's not gonna forget about this anytime soon.
No.
If you've been taken up by a monster and about to be eaten by a monster, you're not gonna forget that anytime soon. So, yeah.
But anyway, the verse of the day is John 8:32b, which is, "The truth shall set you free." Really short verse.
Just like the episode.
Yes.
Which
we get to the part where it makes this episode the proper 30-minute length, which they add a music video at the end. And if I thought that the Christmas special had a lot of filler, this is
filler.
This is filler. Like, oh my gosh. The music video, not even that good. We're using footage of things we just watched, even playing the audio with the music. That doesn't make that much sense. And it's just like, please end this episode now. Please. I get it.
This song is
Larry Boy.
Kind of corny. It's endearing to a certain degree, but to the point that after a minute you're done with it.
Like, after like 15 seconds I'm done with it. It's like,
it's
okay.
awfully repetitive.
It's repetitive.
It predicted the modern state of worship songs.
It's like it really dated this episode. Like,
yeah, if this episode wasn't dated enough.
It's really dated by the music video.
Yeah.
And for my opinion, it just really dragged down the episode.
Yeah, we thought it progressed so much, and then it felt like we spent like 5 minutes on the song.
Like, this is like a really nice and closely knit episode. Oh, music video. Okay, well, that just ruins it. But besides that,
we probably could have integrated it with the end credits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like put the credits along with the music video.
Yeah.
Instead of have the music video and then the credits, which plays the same song.
Wait, does it?
We're not going to test it out. But
no, it
plays the instrumental of the song.
No, it doesn't sound like the song. That's a faster tempo.
It's the instrumental
It's
remix.
An instrumental.
It's a remix of the song.
It's something.
It's something of the same song.
Is it the same song?
Yes.
I don't think so.
The first couple notes was the same song.
No, I don't think so.
But anyway, again, the message of this episode is about lying.
Yeah.
And not to lie. It's very clear in the Bible that we shouldn't tell lies.
Mm-hmm.
The 10 Commandments. It's in the 10 Commandments. Giving false witness. Don't do that.
Right. I do think this episode did a good job in terms of like highlighting the seriousness of telling the truth, the consequences that could happen from a lie, even though it was very exaggerated in this episode. It's not to undermine what a lie can, inflict upon life.
Yeah, this is like a very simple episode with a very simple concept, but it's still an important concept to know.
Yeah.
Lying will hurt you in life.
Somehow. But it will.
It does. You lie in your resume. We do all that. Do we? I don't think I do.
I don't.
But you can lie
myself if I lied on my own resume. If you screwed
yourself by saying that you're able to do this, and they put you into the job and you can't, well, some doesn't add up here. Either you lied or something. And that could be an issue down the line for future jobs. I may not know this, but, that's just my 2 cents on this. Do you think this episode holds up?
Technologically, no. But lesson and point.
It did. Probably. It did until the music video.
No, I mean, what? Didn't Alfred have some Macintosh computer?
I think this, just the simple story just held up.
I mean, the story itself, the technology didn't, and the music video definitely didn't.
I think the technology was fine.
It wouldn't take that long to search. No, you have freaking Google at this point. That
it would still take that long.
You think?
I think it would, because he's not really using Google. He's just,
and not to mention the fact that he unplugged his own computer.
Yeah,
you would think probably at this point he'd be running off a laptop.
Yeah, I'd think that he would probably have a desktop.
Not to mention the surfing the web at the beginning at the countertop.
Yeah, that is probably the joke. But the surfing, no, I think Alfred would use a desktop, especially because he wants to get the good calculations going. Desktops are much.
I mean, I kind of get that.
Better for functionality like that.
But gosh, that is such a messy setup if your own chair unplugs your own computer. Gosh, Alfred. Really.
He's stuck down there all day. He's nothing he can do but play video games. Of course.
I bet that'd be Larry. I don't think Alfred would really play.
No, I think he would. He'd play a nice game of solitaire on the computer. Oh my gosh.
The Bad Apple. He was playing
solitaire. Yeah, he was.
Was it solitaire?
I think it was solitaire.
Okay, I don't remember what he was playing, but he was doing.
It was either solitaire or chess. But yeah, I would think he would play something like that. Do you remember when solitaire was a big thing on computers?
On the Windows XP.
In the older computers.
Don't you miss those games? Do you remember pinball?
Yeah, those were the only games you could play back then on those computers that was just free to play.
I miss pinball.
It's we don't really play games like that on computers anymore.
I got some nice scores on pinball.
I never actually played those games. I would just watch my mother play solitaire all the time, and she played all the time on those old computers. Man, those are fun memories. Not really, but sure, they're memories.
They're memories.
But yeah, any final thoughts on this episode here?
Even though Larry Boy didn't do anything, it still solidified him as an important character with VeggieTales, and they were very smart to capitalize on this.
Very fun character, just enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.